If you need some creative wisdom, I've got 3 words for you.
All right.
So I've been on holidays recently, and as typically is the case, that means that my reading pile is out of control. But amongst those, I have found one particular highlight, which was the memoir by Matthew McConaughey, Greenlights. Now, I got to say that this book took me a little bit of time to warm to. I was getting a little bit icky with some of Matthew's descriptions of his parents' behaviour and the normalisation of them therein. However, it soon developed into a really compelling book. Matthew's a really great writer and has some very, very interesting stories to tell of his time both before and during his Hollywood heyday, along with The McConaissance, which I remember watching in real time. And there's one particular part of Matthew's book which I wanted to highlight today. And it's something that Matthew recalls thinking about just after he lost his father. And I thought the best way to present this would be to read it straight from the source material. A realization came to me. I carved these words into a tree. Less impressed, more involved. The sooner we become less impressed with our life, our accomplishments, our career, our relationships, the prospects in front of us, the sooner we become less impressed and more involved with these things, the sooner we get better at them. We must be more than just happy to be here. All the mortal things that I had been revering in my life, everything I was looking up to in awe, suddenly came down to eye level in front of me. All the mortal things that I looked down upon and patronised in my life suddenly rose up to eye level. Now the world was flat, and I was looking at it in the eye. And this passage really stuck out to me, I think mostly because of its context. I mean, Matthew losing his father and describing that time as such a key point in his life was very touching and very moving. But also, I tend to think about what he's saying in terms of creativity. There is so much art and so many artists that I am impressed by. But I'm never going to know what it took to actually create something great unless I go on my own journey of getting involved in my own creative process. It also kind of suggests to me that the creative life is never done. There's never a point where you only look back and think about all the things that you've produced or done and decide that's enough. There's always something new to start, even if it's something different or something smaller or something of a different flavour than something you've tried before. When you are involved in a project, in a creative pursuit, you're living out your own story. You're getting to see the things that it's taken every other artist to get through to create what they did, realising that it's not as easy as maybe you thought it would be, and in many ways maybe it's not as intimidating as you thought it would be. When Matthew talks about the things that he looked down upon rising up to meet him at eye level, I also think that's part of it, because I know by doing my own creative work, the art or the film that I've judged quite harshly has changed in perspective for me. It doesn't mean that I automatically like it. It just means that I see it as something that someone still worked really hard on. You think about the classic bad film, The Room. People, including Tommy Wiseau, its star and director, worked incredibly hard to bring that to life, even though it didn't really make sense to a lot of people. But, somehow has found its audience. It's very easy to stay in that place of what McConaughey calls boyhood whimsy, of always looking at things and thinking that could never be me, or that is too small of a job for me. But I think that this creative wisdom from McConaughey helps us really refocus on our own journey in life and in creativity. But what about you? What's one thing in your life that you want to be less impressed with and more involved in? Whether it's something that you're used to looking up to in awe, or something that you've looked down on and patronized. Let me know in the comments.
Keep it up for me.